Are we ready to chant?
Yes. Okay. So bring your palms together and inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Om Namo Gurudev. Gurudev Namo Om Gurudev Al Guruname Jugat Guruname Sar Guruname Siri Gurudev Al Guruname Jugat Guruname Sar Guruname Siri Gurudev Al Guruname Jugat Guruname Sar Siri Gurudev. Long deep breath. Good. And we're having recording?
Yes, we are recording.
Great. Okay, so we can, there you go. Oh, there it is.
Ta-da!
Thank you. And you know what? Uh, my family, we went to see the movie, the one about ETs. It was very interesting.
What movie was that?
I've forgotten the name. I'm so,
Okay.
oh, Disclosure. Mhm. But it's Spielberg. So, of course, you have a lot of yikey stuff. Okay. Okay. So, uh, Japa Saraswati, go ahead.
All right. Number 830, Love, Integrity, and Joy. Tune in. Message. This message is from Siri Gian and read slowly by Japa Saraswati. Dear Lightworkers, did you read our group text from Aagia Pal's message by Judith Kusel? It was beautiful and exquisite. Would our ego be as our dense energies, as opposed to become greater light quantum speed as God? I suspect that the only thing that we can do is to simply give permission to let go of our dense energies. Too simple to slide from fear, CNR. Just begin from soul's understanding. Here is from Judith Kusel's carefully created connection. We are in super quantum shifts and losing density, being liquidized as our light quotient levels rise, now at quantum speed. Herein lie our greatest blessings in this sacred now moment.
Okay. So now we're ready for the video.
Okay.
And after that, you will see give a moment for stillness afterwards.
Okay, I need a moment for tech.
Okay.
Here, I'm going to
Oh,
stop
there
it.
it is. So, Aagia Pal, thank you so much for getting Judith Kusel, I guess.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you're welcome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for accepting it.
Oh, yeah.
Waheguru, Waheguru, Waheguru Ji. Satnam, Satnam Ji. Waheguru, Waheguru, Waheguru Ji. Satnam, Satnam Ji. Waheguru, Waheguru, Waheguru Ji.
Thank you.
Satnam,
Okay, because now
Satnam Ji.
Judith is ready, right? Japa Saraswati?
Beautiful souls, and it is with love and joy that I greet you this morning. We are just living in the most amazing, transformative, transfiguring. Well, I think one sort of ends up with a loss of words about what is happening. You know, in the very beginning, when the first civilization ever was created on earth, the first paradise, which was Elysium, as I recorded in my book, Who Was Born in Africa, the whole history of it and that of the Lion Kingdom, which were the first civilizations on earth, and Africa still holds it because there was only one single supercontinent, and that was one continent. There weren't any other continents. But at that stage, those first inhabitants or humans that were then on the planet, they all came from other stars and star systems. And they actually then volunteered to start working with planet Earth on a greater degree. But they did not have such a physical form or dense form as we have now. It is interesting that this is actually recorded in the esoteric literature, but also if you dig a bit further, you will find that a lot of it is also sort of like embedded or sort of woven into mythology. But what happens then is if you are in that higher dimensional state, your physical body is not dense. It is light filled. And the thing is, they didn't know what a physical body or a denseness was. Now, if you are in that absolute energy field, that super quantum energy field that actually holds the whole energy of creation, you literally flow with the flow. You are the light. You are that. But if you start to sort of like contract that energy, and then you start forming matter. So you literally squash out the light and you become dense. And that is exactly what humanity has become, especially since the fall of Atlantis. Because in the first civilization, we didn't have such a dense form. We had a much lighter form that also was, so that you were able to teleport easily, you could bilocate, etc. And of course, you had all your faculties that you could still use, your third eye faculties, all 96 chambers of it, and also then the all seeing, the all hearing, the all knowing, but you also operated from the heart. It was when humanity went into that denseness that they created themselves, And they fell even more into denseness with the fall of Atlantis. They literally then got stuck in the denseness. They couldn't get out of it again. So we had then the third dimension, and we had Atlantis, and after the fall Atlantis, and that is where the whole imbalance came from humanity. That was when the patriarchy took control, and then the feminine was sort of denied anywhere, any sort of like authority in whatever form or way. But with the balance now being returned, and with the shift happening, we're losing density again. Now, is that not a miracle? That we're losing density. That means we're becoming liquidized again, and we're turning into that light that we were first were created, or we were coming into the planet with. To me, this is so symbolic of letting go. We can't cling on to anything here, because every single day brings its own miracle of transformation, of transfiguration. And if you go into the day and you expect everything to be the same, well, I've got news for you. Nothing is the same anymore. Because it can't. It's got to lose whatever patterns, whatever form, whatever structures it had created in the density now is dissolving. And it's becoming almost like plasma. It's liquid, but it's also, in a strange way, it's also got a bit of solidity in it, but not so much that it becomes totally fluid. If you actually go and you ask yourself, what do you look like in your soul form? Then you will be shown what you look like in your soul form. And you do have a soul body. It just is pure light. And you will see that your facial features stay the same. So this part of you actually always stays the same. That is how you recognize other souls. You recognize them, A, by the geometric symbol that is here on their forehead. We all have it, because that's where your soul name is in the sacred geometry, plus sound, plus light. And then it's also in your structure here. So in other words, this part here is where you read other souls. And isn't that interesting that telepathy also functions from that part? But of course, telepathy always, always, always is used in conjunction with the intuitive, with the heart-centeredness. And that's what the female has always held. She is very intuitive. She listens to her heart. And unfortunately, when patriarchy took over, what did they do? They shut down the heart center. And what happened? You were actually ridiculed if you used your intuitive powers. And more than that, if you used your psychic powers or whatever. And the male went into that total denial of a heart. Now, these things are all dissolving. You see it, how it's happening. There's a softening. There's a coming to the fore that your heart center is actually the epicenter of all. It's the hub. And when the heart and the mind work together, then you become a co-creator in the highest and best ways for the highest good of all. Because you care about the environment, you care about the animals, you care about the birds, you care about the plants, you care about Mother Earth. And that extends into all human beings. You care about them. It's a deep nurturing of that which is in need of nurturing. And also, it also means nurturing yourself and loving yourself into the deepest shadow and the highest light. We both. We are that. I mean, if you ask an artist to paint a beautiful painting, they use the dark colors to offset the light. Otherwise, you will not be able to see what they're trying to convey to you. It's that contrast that brings out the beautiful essence of all the colors. And if you mix paint, you'll see that if you mix in this and that, then you get other colors coming in. And you know what's so exciting is that new spectrum of colors are now being brought back with the light that is now dissolving the density. New sounds are coming in. And to me, that is such a miracle of creation. And you know that our etheric spine is already there. It's that what upholds our bodies and fields. If the spine is so important, it's even more important than the chakras. Why do you think the medical symbol has got the rod of power in it, and also the serpents that go up and down? That's actually the Kundalini energy. It shows you the energy of creation, that creative force, the creative power that is there. There is something very beautiful here. You know, if you can think of it, you are being absolutely reborn in so many ways. If you start clinging to anyone or anything, or to that rigidness, you know, a lot of people are so rigid in their beliefs and rigid in their thinking and rigid in what they do and rigid in their habits, that they cling on for dear life onto that, and they refuse to even let a tiny sliver of light actually come in to dissolve that rigidity. It's a fear change more than anything else. They fear that if those structures go, that their whole life will collapse. There's nothing to fear except fear itself. Love is the absence of fear. And you know what is so beautiful? Is that when you let go, and you finally let go of your ego, and you step fully in your higher soul self, divine will and your will are one and the same. That's the mighty I am presence. You become one with the monad, which is your soul group. And I have found time and time again in my life, and especially at these times, when I think I know everything, and when I think I know exactly where my life is going and exactly what I want to do with my life, then something will happen, and then I get back into the surrendering. And that is with all of us now, because we simply cannot predict the future now. We can have a concept of what the future is like, and we are asked to co-create the new golden age and the new earth in the here and now, which I am already doing. But I still need to be fluid and flexible in the way that this is taking form. If I am rigid, then the whole universal flow is cut off. When you go into fear, you go into that contraction, which actually brings the density even more dense. In other words, it creates more density than it actually is becoming fluid. To me, but just meditating by the sea or by the waters is always such an inspiration, because the waters have to flow. They have a rhythm about the flow. But if you look at the sea will never be the same from one day to the other. It is always fluid, it is changing forms. It can become stormy, but the storms actually clear up the air. It can become very sort of calm. And then other times you have these crashing waves that come down. That is life. That is life. That is the waves of creation. And behind all of that, which is seemingly making no sense, there is a stillness, there's order. The more you experience oneness with all that is, when you get into that higher consciousness state, where everything dissolves and you just are that field, you are that heart cohesion, you are that. then you realize there never was separation, there never was duality. All is one. When you go into that state, it is absolute state of bliss, because you are truly home to the whole of the universe, the omniverse, the omnipresent, which is that of the Prime Creator, which also incorporates the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine. I love the term Prime Creator, because I have noticed as a librarian that a lot of people, when you say the word God, that they immediately, if they had any negative connotation with a father or a mother, they literally shut out anything. They shut down. But the minute that you bring this into perspective and you use the word source, the source of everything, the source of all creation, they suddenly open up. There's a very high reason here, because source means there's a source of energy, just like you have a source of water. The source embraces everything. The quantum physics tries to put labels on it, and talk about super consciousness fields and this field and that field, and this is quantum this and that is that. It's just a human way of putting words into something that actually needs no words. The human language will disappear because our human language is not adequate for us when we are in the 7th and 9th dimensional state. You communicate telepathically, and everybody can read your energy fields. And that is why we need to become liquidized and see through, because in your fields, like crystal clear and absolutely pure, because everybody will even notice one little speck of dirt. Isn't that amazing? It's like when you look at the waters and you can see right to the bottom and you can see what there is. It's just an amazing sight. And this is what's being revealed to us. That if we allow ourselves now to let go, and we allow ourselves to be reinvented and reformed and whatever, and lose our density, then we can there are no boundaries. There are no impossibilities. We can literally do and be anything we choose to be, but always from a state of love and pure intent. Because the whole of the omniverse and the Prime Creator always reads your intent. What are you going to do if this is given to you? What are you going to do with the powers? What are you going to do with your creativeness? What are you going to contribute towards the whole that will uplift the whole? That will be like an enhancing of a prime creation. That is your soul responsibility. And when you start to realize that you've got to take responsibility for everything you are creating, for the energy that you put out there, for the energy that exudes from you and radiates forth, the energy of your thoughts, how often are thoughts daggers? And then I don't talk about words. Oh my goodness. Words can be used like daggers. And even worse. And then, what about your deeds? Mastery means that you walk your truth. You stand in your truth. And you live it. But you live it with so much love that all that you are reflects the truth of your soul and who and what you in truth are. And all of us are pure love. To me, this is a miracle of this time. And that is why you need more time to yourself now. And you need time to be quiet. I find that so much when I have those revealing coming, when I have the insight and the vision, when I see what is coming, when I connect to the infinite whole, that field that incorporates everything and yet is nothing. So many people that want to go into what seems to be a void, and they run away from it, even the void within themselves, because it scares the wits out of them. When you start getting in stillness and you are in absolute oneness with a field, there's just bliss, there's ecstasy. And what is more than, there's inner peace, there's harmony, there's balance, because now you are in equilibrium. You are the field. And there's no need to push forward or strive forward or be better or more than anybody else. You simply are. To be. Isn't it Shakespeare that said to be or not to be? It's actually a very profound statement, that. If you realize that you are to be, then you flow. Then you lose density, because now you're part of a field. Yet you are everything, and everything is you. You just choose to be fluid and not cling on to anything. You choose to be open. You choose to explore. You see all the possibilities are there. But you always get back to your heart of love. You are love. And when you are love, why would you like to co-create something that is devoid of love? In truth, do you really want to hold on to your density and denseness? You have to touch and feel and explain everything, even make formulas for it, decipher it, whatever, before you believe it's there. That's the mind. You go into your heart just loves. Your heart just is the field. Your soul is a field, because your soul is energy. And yet you have a soul body. And when you ask that it will be revealed to you, you will see yourself. I've seen myself. I see myself very fine. I know exactly what I look like in my true soul form. But it also gives you the truth of who you are. And that is when you start to claim your true magnificence. The truth of who and what you in truth are. And the divine created you so beautifully magnificent, so perfect and whole and complete. And that is the picture. And the love and the absolute knowing the divine carries within it, the source, the prime creator. And is it not time to embrace that perfection of you, your own magnificence as soul, and serve with great love, with truth and integrity, and walk your truth? And in loving and with loving intent, in every living second and moment of your life, then go and co-create with love what you would love to see, love to feel, love to know, love to explore, love to become in the new earth and the new golden age. The time is here. The golden age is not out there, it's already here. The new earth is not out there, it's already here. And when you become aware of this, you become very careful of what you share your energy with and what you do with your energy and what you radiate out forth. And on that note, may you have a very blessed, loving, and amazing day, knowing that with every breathing breath you take, you have a chance to create anew in all and every form and way, even as you are newly created. If that's not a blessing, and if that doesn't bring love and joy, then what?
Okay. Now, Aagia Pal.
So we'll have 1 minute of heart
Wait a minute.
pumping.
Japa Saraswati, allow the next thing. Okay, because I forgot to put some in there. Okay, for Judith. But now we're beginning with Aagia Pal. Go ahead.
So we'll have 1 minute of heart pumping.
Mm-hmm.
So heart breath with breath of fire. And then I'll let you know when that's over, and we'll then begin the Dynamite Diamond. So
Oh, no, we should listen the whole thing. I'm sorry. For
what did you want?
For the whole page of writing.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Japa Saraswati.
Okay.
All right. Yes,
Okay.
I just had to find my control to unmute.
Okay.
Okay, so after the video, Aagia Pal will lead us for 1 minute of heart pumping, which is heart breath with breath of fire. Then use the 2 parts for this meditation for the Dynamite Diamond meditation. So that's 1 minute, begin with heart breath. Listen from your voice to decide who or what will move toward your Heelys meditation. Then we'll spend 3 minutes continuing with heart breath, feeling very strong third eye energies to feel, focus, and see direct your light beam to your Heely. And then Siri Gian will lead the CNR meditation, which will be 5 minutes of consciousness, no reality, which is strong heart breath, which is belly breath with nose inhalation for 6 seconds, nose exhalation for 6 seconds from out of your heart center. Slide from fear. Let go of any of your nasty, difficult old stuff. No reality, no thinking, no everyday self. Only feel, just be light. Then 2 minutes to become awareness and understand what happened from everyday self. Use your notes, listen and share. Lots of love, Siri Gian.
Thank you so much. Okay. So now is for Aagia Pal.
So now we'll start, and we'll do 1 minute of heart pumping. And begin. Inhale, please. And exhale. And then we'll begin Dynamite Diamond with 1 minute of heart breath. And as you're breathing through your heart center, listen from your voice and decide who, what, when, where, what is your Healy. And begin. Okay, beautiful. And please inhale and exhale. And now for 3 minutes, we'll continue heart breath. And with your eyes in and up at your third eye, close your eyes in and up at your third eye. Feel very strong energies from your third eye. And see the direct laser-like light beam from your third eye to your Healy. And we'll do this for 3 minutes and begin. And inhale, please. And exhale. Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Okay. Now continue with CNR. Consciousness, no reality. Okay. So you remember about heart breath, slide from fear, no reality, but only feel, just be light, and begin.
Mm.
Inhale. Breathe. And 2 minutes to become awareness and then understand what happened from you. Use your notes. Inhale. And breathe. Aagia Pal.
Oops. Yeah,
Good.
it's really beautiful. You know, it was wonderful to listen to Judith. And what immediately came to me as my Healy was in Australia they have wild horses called Brumbies, and
What? Say it again.
they're wild horses
Uh-huh.
in Australia. And what immediately came to me as my Healy, it just was like boom, right before me, was this herd of these wild horses, Brumbies. And what I know about this is that they are considered, pests, and they mess with the environment, according to people there. And they wanted to have a culling of these Brumbies. And immediately when I went into it was just with heart to encompass, to hold my heart around all of these beautiful wild horses and the environment. And so it was a real strong desire to share my light, to I felt like I am one of them, I am with them and breathing with them and praying even with them. And so that was my experience of Healy, and I can so there, it's just continuing, I guess you could say, that I will be continuing this Dynamite Diamond energy explosion or expansion with them. And listening to Judith, that it was just feeling, recognizing no separateness, recognizing the beauty, the purity of these wild horses, and appreciating them, and Mother Earth, and the desire, the prayer that I had was for no one to be, and nothing to be hurt or damaged or in any way made less than. So that was my experience, and it was lovely. And learning to be focusing the third eye energies, that's a practice, and I've been practicing that. Yeah, so I think that's what I wanted to share mostly.
Mm-hmm. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Gian Dasprem.
Satnam. Oh, thank you for today. It was very relaxing for me. I was seeing colors, electricity coming from the ground. Certain times they can create sparks with action from the ground with the tectonic plates. And I'm seeing a lot of the earth, of the matter, the living matter that through the hypnotization of the words, the numbers, the letters, the movement just sort of going away and coming outside of myself. Coming outside of ourselves, it's could be scary depending on how it happens. But there are practices that we can do to bring us there. And being reminded here while my body was nearly put to sleep, that there is an underlying consciousness, right? There's different levels of consciousness for the body, for the mind, for the spirit, divine during the entire time. And then we get to step outside of that. We can do that with practice. We can also do that by listening to somebody who's varying opinion. And being the Healy, or seeing the being that's healing and stepping into that sort of way. And I'm looking back to the mother again, of spending that time inside of the womb with little reminders of the memory that's within there is very powerful to come to the truth with that, facing truth in so many different ways. And what I was seeing was a rainbow, and all of the colors were just changing and they were shifting around. And then it showed me how far under the ground the rainbow goes and how it can keep its shape, even though when it breaks apart, it within the line, that the line will always remain the same, the arc will remain the same, that maybe there's colors that are missing in certain points. And we're here to stop filling in the blanks is the message that I'm getting today for facing the blankness, which is another thing that we almost have to view by experience. So that's when it can come to that difficulty of explaining. So for me, losing that explanation too. But when I see how other species are living, I'm noticing they don't use money, they don't use books, but yet they sing and they show us so many things. So for this transformation, is the land calling me back for my true self and the matter memory within the travelability of the matter memory, and maybe even asking it, because if I'm here with it and I'm able to ask questions and share my opinion with people, my opinion is going out into the air, the same air that we breathe. I'm breathing Buddha's air no matter where I go in the world, wherever he was at one time, the species. So just, yeah, finding a way to come back along. And, I've been seeing the birthing hill and it just keeps having more people on it. There's 3 women at the top of it and they're all in labor. And there's all kinds of people on that hill. Some are asking questions, some are stating their explanation. And I'm just giving more life on top of that and seeing how the flow with water, how water flows downhill, but it also evaporates up to the clouds and picks up the dirt with it as it goes up. And the rising and falling of that, and coming back to the tree and the representation of the sun and the water, the photosynthesis, providing me the colors that when I close my eyes and when I do certain practices and regulate my breathing, I can go to those places. And the physical body is, there's so much in there, right? With all of these studies of the world and everything that I can let it go. Because the fear of letting go and then facing something, they can sort of match up, but we're going to have that transition, that moment of transition where it may be surprising or what have you. And then back to the realization of the gift of life and the freedom within the gift of giving, continuing that giving. That part of the communication is where for me now, I'm seeing the birth, I'm seeing the letting out and the relaxation in between the holding in and the letting out, and the inner birth and the outer birth, greeting the air and the vapor, removing the water and embracing the vapor, which also has water in it too, but we can't really swallow water like that into our lungs. We know that, right? So I'm just coming back to the simplicity of the truth is my identity, and here I am as a being amongst other beings. Some of them I can see, but there is life within me, changing constantly every year. I won't be the same. I may look the same, but inside of me, all those cells have changed. They've regenerated. Some of them have gone out of me. So, and then reducing that down to back into the breath for myself to say Waheguru. And really, I mean, we are able to let all the books go. We're able to share all that is here. So being hypnotized is a good thing. And I think listening to people who have love in their heart and are trying to find ways to share that is beyond the communication of what money. It gets to a point where it no longer can communicate us. My opinion, but when I ask for help, it's good to have people around. And a good friend of mine mentioned today, she didn't actually say it takes a village, but that we need support, and sometimes, and I think we're coming to the point where we're seeing that and we're able to speak our truth. You know, whether it's we have a family member becoming older or a friend, you know, who's sick and may be having a very challenging time, that we're there for them too, as well as for ourselves. And that, yeah, and being in a group that has mostly women in it and has given me a chance to see, you know, my separation from the woman is coming from my birth. So, and I look around at men, and this is also could be a generalization, but we've done a lot with controlling the woman with our strength, and I mean bodily strength. And life is equal, right? When we come to that yoke of the sharing and caring and pairing that caring and sharing into a new type of communication, this new way of living with the communication replaces the monetary, so that use takes over value, and we can get out there and wow, the amount of fun that we are able to have here on this earth when we just sort of loosen those restrictions individually, um, as it is an individual group process of sharing the information. And, you know, I'm going to repeat myself again with the archaeology and, you know, building on top of building, and the wind is still going to spread the seeds in the air that's been shared for all of those times. So I think if I can just notice that part of it and be, you know, close to nature when I can, which is there's a window that's made out of glass. So yeah, it's this process that we're in is moving forward to overcome those obstacles of communication that have brought us into conflict. Yes, and then when we come from, you know, creation, that we're creating things that we should question, and we can look at them and we can sort of hold them in our hand. There comes the sharing again. So it's for me to sort of lose my opinion and replace it with just love, right? And that's what I'm trying to do. I think that we're doing this together, so it's a joint thing. And I want to say why I did it.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Aagia Pal?
Yes?
Yeah. Oh, no. Japa Saraswati.
Sat down. Well, for the Dynamite Diamond meditation, um, I have like a couple of situations going on, and at first I picked one of them, and then the next one kept crowding in, and then the next one kept crowding in, and what I realized was that my Healy was myself. Like something magical happened on the lake because I'm in my, it's a loft, so I'm upraised from the lake, but the sun hits the lake and it reflects off the water and bounces up here. So as I had my eyes 9/10 of the way closed for the meditation and rolling my eyes up, and I kind of started to tear up when I realized that it wasn't just the one situation, that it was me, that the whole Healy situation was me. um and uh and then the light started reflecting strongly off of the lake and bouncing into my mostly closed teary eyes, and it was just very bright, and it felt like that mirror was melting. um like I don't know, and I just did heart breath with it and stuck with it as best I could. But kind of what I want to what I want to say about um well, it's about consciousness, no reality, being a lot like the frequency of forgiveness, because you just have to imagine that you have forgiven, in the same way that, like, you just have to imagine that reality is as it ever was. And the way that I feel it is the gyroscopic precession. So, when we're talking about the gyro, the reason that the precession happens is, like, let's say that it's the blades of a propeller, or if or a fan, if that's easier to visualize, and then you stop them suddenly. Um, uh, there's still the energy that was in the propulsion that lets you know about how it will. And that's the same way that our earth works, and it's the same way that cycles work. It's the same reason that when we chant and then we stop chanting, we can hear the sound of the chant in our head, is that's the procession of it. There's like this carryover energy, and and that we are in this wobbly time of reality, and the things that have been going on like clockwork forever and ever are not going on like clockwork the way that they once were. So we have to use that imagination to imagine that they still were, in so many ways, to bridge the gap until they do again. And and yeah, so it's like frequency of forgiveness. But so what else I want to talk about is the pose Utkatasana, which is sometimes called awkward pose. And, like, there are so many different versions of it. It's the one with the way that I really like to get into it is, if you bend your knees really deeply, and then bring your hands alongside of your feet and let your fingers graze the earth, and then you straighten your knees as much as you will, kind of sticking your bum out behind you, and then you rise up and you bring your biceps up along by your ears. And so you're making like a little mini lightning bolt shape. And then you want to tuck in the pelvis, sort of draw up on your root lock. And then I like to hook the thumbs over the crown of the head and visualize a golden chain, and visualize that I'm being drawn up by this golden chain. I really experience it as a connection to the golden chain of teachers. Like, I think about Jagat Guru all the time in this chain, for example, and all of you. But, like, it's so it's this connection from the roots all the way through the crown, and you're in this sort of lightning bolt shape. And this posture is, there's so many different variants. So the one that I just described is only one variation of it. It's like one of those that's kind of confusing like that, because everybody will have a different way about it. But anyway, awkward pose. It's an incredibly awkward pose to hang out in because of the way that you've got your bum sticking out, but your root chakra sort of engaged, and that you're lifting up, and that you're equally grounded down. It shows you how to be off center, and still this long line for the energy. It's like this, I want to say that it's the practice of learning how to be graceful under this awkward, in this awkward pose. And that's what I feel like with I've been thinking about CNR with my asanas lately, or like with the austerities of trying to do something that's awkward or might feel tedious, or even just like the makes up the simple rhythms of life in this age when we are losing the tempo, the it feels like the metronome of the earth has skipped a beat, and now we're all a little off the wobble with the tempos. It feels like Mother Earth. To me, it feels a little bit like this is what's happening with Mother Earth. And yeah, so the what I'm feeling is coming back to the consciousness no reality in these incredibly awkward poses, but especially that part of the consciousness no reality where we're imagining that same place that we imagine frequency of forgiveness, imagining that tempo hadn't been skipped, imagining that we're on these regular rhythms, and and also at that point I was really engaging also the frequency of forgiveness for myself in that sort of melting mirror of just the pickle of my life. I think that's the message.
Hmm. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, Japa Saraswati, can you show us that asana? Can you show that?
Yeah, let me get the let me move the camera. I'm sitting. I have to stand up and put
Sure.
the camera someplace. Oh, you know what? Let me put it on the screen actually. Because I feel I'm wearing a big skirt. I don't think you'll be able to see it that well. I think I will. Let me find a picture of it and I'll put it on the screen.
And tell me again, what's the name of this?
It's Utkatasana, Utkatasana.
Okay, start again, please. U T
U T
K.
K A T Asana.
U.
Here, I'm starting the. Oh no, I stopped the broadcast. Start the broadcast.
Okay, and it's Utkaat,
T.
and then Asana.
Look, it's
Awesome.
here on the screen. Can you see this?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So let me see it again. The picture.
Oh, okay.
Yikes.
This is what I really love. It's so this is a very special so this yesterday morning I taught a class, and then we had this posture in it, and and the way that I described getting into it, there are so many other variations, but then from here, you can step one leg back and you can come into like a lunge. You can twist from there. You can also, this is one of the foundational practices for Ashtanga. So you'll go into this in your Ashtanga classes. It's part of uh, the sun salutation B. So it's a wonderful pose.
Mm-hmm. Sounds wonderful.
Oh yeah, so yesterday morning I had the students all doing it, and you can see it's pretty advanced, and then I had them stepping back into the twist, And I want to say that I was by far the youngest person in the room, and I was so proud of these ladies because they were doing some advanced stuff, and it was just super fun. We had a really good time.
Oh,
Everybody was happy.
okay.
Yeah.
How long?
How long did we hold the poses?
Yes.
I would say for like between 30 seconds and a minute. And then we did them, it was part of a flow class. So yeah, between 30 seconds and a minute in the postures.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Good. And that is for changing, well, stabilize, wobbly,
Yeah.
wobble.
Stabilize the wobblies. Well, so another thing is she has in this picture, she has her feet about 2 fists hip distance apart, and it really changes your stability if you hold your knees together or if you hold your knees apart. But it really builds those stabilizing muscles and it builds up through the whole abdomen, like to prevent the pelvic floor from falling. It really holds so much stability and integrity through the core, and then it also is cardiovascular because it really raises the heart rate, and as you're engaging those stabilizing muscles, it's quite a workout.
Oh,
It's important to a lot of other practices too. This is like a an important posture.
okay. Very wonderful.
I'm doing it now, and I
Yeah.
feel in it. Do you feel it's? I feel it in my lower back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, and I find that I feel it in different places at different times. So
Uh-huh.
like sometimes like I will really feel it on the underside of the glutes. Like I really feel it
Hmm.
depending on there. And then if you're really focusing on keeping the knees parallel, you'll feel it in more in the thighs versus if you let your knees come together, which is how you would go into the twist from there,
Hmm.
you you will have to use less of those stabilizing muscles. And then another really interesting thing is about the biceps being up by the ears. You know, like when people sweep their way through their electromagnetic field, I experience that. Like, I love the asana practices where I tell my classes always to sweep their electromagnetic field and think of it as energetic hygiene. And because I like to teach flow classes, there might be 30 or 50 of these sweeps. And I tell them the same thing as we're doing spinal flex, that we're polishing the vertebrae and that we are doing hygiene on the Shushmana. And I tell them that as we're doing the practice and make them a little bit aware of it. But anyway, so as we sweep our electromagnetic field, or as we sweep around us, it describes an aspect of our nervous system, of our electromagnetic field. So like if we've got really restricted motion, say like we have an injury or we have like a just a really tightness on someplace, it that actually describes, a part of the electromagnetic field to be aware of, like that describes something that we can then see visually, and like just send energy, send love, send awareness there to that, whatever that is. And so having those biceps up by the ears is like so many people, when you go into the class and you say to them, if there's no mirror, bring your biceps up by the ears, it will not even look remotely like what this yogi here is doing, which I don't know if this is a true picture or if it's a cartoon. I think this is like a cartoon picture, but that's you got the idea of what the asana looks like. But
Mhm.
so yeah, so that's another really um So it to me, when you're in that exact alignment and your knees are not touching, you've got these two great lines of energy passing, starting from one foot to the other, and then you've got these places where it to me it represents the Ida and the Pingala, and so at the energetic points where the knees draw slightly in to parallel themselves with each other, and then at the same time the hips, you have this swishing, this helix movement that flows up and down the body, and it starts from the feet and it ends up at the hands, so it I'm belaboring the point, but it becomes a way to describe the current of energy, the way that we're flowing energy as well. And that's why it's so important to practice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I have physical therapy for my feet, because I have one leg is off. So today we were just doing something very simple, or thank you.
Simpler.
No, doing the same situation, but not with the arms.
Oh,
So, isn't that a good idea? Because
yeah,
it was helping for my balance. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that in that engagement that I think that you will have an easier time in doing it than other people because of a lifetime of doing root lock, because
Right.
so many people have trouble with sitting down because it's that same motion. Like I think of this posture every time I hover over the bathroom toilet stall somewhere because I don't want to sit down onto it, you know?
Yeah.
But it's perfect place to practice this posture, guys.
That's a good idea.
It really is, but then it's those same muscles that keep us suspended that like so many people have a trouble with sitting down as they age, that they just lose their sense of balance behind them and lose that ability to keep that root lock lifted, and also then it engages the muscles of the abdomen, and if you don't have that engagement, it's so hard to be able to sit down. Like at the old folks home, there's a lady who she has a very hard time and she falls back into everything, but she's not the only one. There's like this happens with a lot of people.
Hmm. Hmm. That's right. Yes. Well, that's great. Thank you, dear.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Okay. So I was so happy to hear that Aagia Pal were able to uh, lead the meditation.
Yeah.
And because I don't usually, well, and the meditation, because I don't need, I can't use meditation when I was still trying to time. So,
Yeah.
so today I was able, I could hear, this was from listening and seeing from the people of the earth. And it was uh, as crust all around the whole globe.
Mm.
And then um, using heart breath, were first of all with the DD, Diamond, what is it? Dynamite,
Yeah.
and diamond. So I just had to let it go and allow heart breath. And what happened was, like the light coming like from sun, and it was that crust was becoming more and more transparent through the earth for the people. And it changed. But we need lots more. Okay. So thank you so much. Okay. So anybody else? Okay. So just keep up. And if you would like to have that video from Judith Kusel, would you say? You just be there more and more to see what's happening, feeling that, and use the meditations. Oh, 3 of them we talked about. So thank you all so much. Okay, so Aagia Pal, would you lead us to our song?
Oh, sure. Okay, so let's inhale and exhale. And inhale again. And as you inhale, infuse yourself with source, love, and all that Judith was talking about. And begin. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on.
Inhale.
Soft
and numb. Allow this beautiful heart of you, each of you, to move through yourself and through the whole world. That means human, animals, vegetarian, vegetable, and atmosphere. Oh, everything, like water in the earth, too.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Love you
Satnam.
all.
Thank you.